Good morning. Just wrapped up some cardio. I wanted to come at you today with a few thoughts about motion versus effort. My typical weekend early morning cardio routine, if I'm home, I get up before the sun, get myself ready, go out in my garage, I grab a jump rope, easy piece of equipment, and do what I got to do to get through a cardio workout. Today I happen to be in a hotel gym, so I'm out of my element, but I knew I was going to get cardio done. Still did the same thing. I'm up before the sun, or got started before the sun came up. Decided to hop on an elliptical machine, get in my cardio for the morning, or for the day. So I wanted to, as I was doing it, I started thinking about the difference of motion versus effort, looking at all the lights and buttons on the machine, and got to thinking about it. So I wanted to share a few thoughts with you this morning. I got my real little post-workout stuff. People ask when I take these essential amino acids, usually before and after a workout. So I had a serving when I first got up in the morning, got down, got my cardio in. I'll sip on this for a while after here. So I got on the machine this morning, and the piece of equipment doesn't matter. Okay, don't get hung up on, if I only had a treadmill, or if I only had an elliptical, I would do my cardio. But I don't forget that, because that's your stopping block. There's your excuse. Well, I don't have the right equipment. I can't do. No, it doesn't matter what the equipment is. It can be any equipment. If it's nice out, get out, go for a walk, go for a run. In the summertime or when it's springtime, I'll run hills in a park, or run sprints on a track, run stairs up a college field or stadium. Get on your bike, whatever, rollerblade, take your dog for a walk, whatever it is. If you have gym equipment, great, go and use it, but it's not necessary. Don't make that your stopping block. If you don't have what you wish you had, figure out what else you've got. Use what you got and get it done. Don't let that become an excuse. Oftentimes it does. So anyway, I got on the machine this morning. Like I said, usually I'm doing jump rope, so I don't have to deal with buttons and timers and all that good stuff. Most of the machine, as I'm looking at it, it's just a counter. The time on it is going to pass because it's counting seconds automatically. The distance pretty much is automatic. You can mess with it a little bit, I guess. Like if you're on the elliptical, the faster you go, it should equate to the more distance you're covering in a given amount of time. Same thing on a treadmill if you start running versus a slow walking pace. But for the most part, you can hop off the treadmill and leave it at 7 miles an hour, and it's going to keep spinning, and it's going to keep telling you you're going further while you're standing there checking out your phone or whatever. So a lot of that's a counter, and even the calorie things, they're not necessarily accurate. So they're not the best guide. You can use them as a kind of idea of hey, I burned more this time than last time. Hopefully that equates to you've done more work. But I wouldn't rely on those. So two things I relied on a little bit when I'm looking at the counters, which isn't often. The speed, at least on the elliptical, I can control the speed. The harder I move, the higher the speed goes. So if I want to keep it above a certain level, I know the level of effort I'm putting in. So, and the same thing on a treadmill. I guess if you're running, the faster you're going, the more effort you're putting into it. So you can control that, so you can watch the speed on it. And then it's a matter of how you're feeling. If you're out of breath and you're really going hard, your muscles are starting to burn a little bit, you're getting good sweat, you're working. Where you could just as easily get on there with the notion that, I want to do 30 minutes today. You can do 30 minutes, checking your phone, watching the TV screen, reading a book, talking on the phone to a friend. But you're going through the motion, and at the end you could be like, yep, I got my 30 minutes in. But how much did you accomplish? If you have a certain idea of, I'm doing this because I want a specific result, going through the motions probably isn't going to cut it for you. It's going to come down to how much effort are you putting in that time you've got to work with. So motion versus effort. You can go through the motion of 30 minutes, and you can go through the motion of, I'm going to walk 2 miles. And that's great. But If you want a specific result, it's going to require or demand a certain amount of work. So focus on the effort you're putting into it. If you're going all out for those 30 minutes and you're huffing and puffing and sweating and really getting at it, then you can expect a better result than if you just walked on a treadmill and watched a TV show or read a book or had a conversation, because you're focused. Your level of attention is greater, which means you're more in tune with what your body's doing. You're willing to put in the work. You're willing to work harder, push yourself more, rather than just letting the time pass. I say it all the time on here. Make the time count. Don't just count the time. So that's the thought for today. Effort versus motion. Don't just go through the motions. You want a specific result, you've got to put in a certain level of work that's required or demanded of you to get there. So keep that in mind. Have a good day. Have a good weekend. Set your plans, set your goals, and then get after them and accomplish them. Rise and conquer.